Hey everybody, it's Jim Prevost with Embrace the Shake. I can see that we're a little grainy tonight, but I just wanted to drop in, say hello, wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and New Year's is right around the corner. I know tonight we may not have too many on because of traveling and spending time with family, but I just wanted to, like I said, stop in and talk Parkinson's for a bit. I have some information on some studies that have recently come out, and some information that'll help families and of those who have a Parkinson's patient in their family, and also for fellow Parkies. The Mutton Fudge family is on tonight. Thank you for coming on. I did have a great holiday. Hope you did too. So sorry about the loss of your dad. Um, Tragedy, and I know that he was also had Parkinson's, diagnosed with Parkinson's. But it's so good to see you guys on, and thanks for being here tonight. Uh, Jacob, good to see you. Hope things are well in St. Ed's Land in Ohio. Um, we have good news. We're over $2,000 on the fundraiser for Maddie's dog. Hey, Daryl, good to see you for Maddie's dog. Um, Bring Biggie home, and I feel very positive that we're going to meet our goal here shortly. We have some promises from folks that are donating that are going to cap it off when we get to a certain amount. Good to see you, Alex. Again, Daryl, thanks for being on tonight. Good luck with your trip, Shawanda. Thanks for being with us tonight. Miss seeing you over the holidays. I hope everybody's doing fine in your family. The world famous Bob Bott from Jersey on, I believe exit 91. The bull is here. So now that all of you are on board, let's go ahead and get started. I have some information with some studies. Um, Recently came through the Parkinson News Today journal. Then I have one that's dated back a year. So let me go ahead and move forward to this before the yawns start. This deals with athletes and concussions. And it kind of parallels what the military is doing with CTE studies, and which are studies on the negative effects of the brain and how the brain diminishes and essentially self-destructs because of um, multiple concussions over a period of years in sports. It doesn't necessarily have to be a concussion. It can be a shaking or a rattling of the brain. Good to see you, Diane Bigelow. Merry Christmas, my friend. To where the brain is startled or is shook inside its case and causes some brain damage. It says here athletes that play contact sports for longer than 8 years are 6 times higher in developing, more likely to develop Lewy body dementia, which is associated. Hey, Daryl, good to see you. Associated with Parkinson's disease and also Parkinson's disease itself, which are both neurodegenerative disorders. Excuse me. Um, a study further in a secondary study into this, same one, the same study, July 27, 2018 study that I just cited, found that there was a co-link or a similar morbidity, an injury study between Lewy body dementia, CTE stage 1 in different stages, and Alzheimer's disease. So repetitive sport concussion, head contact, um, startling and combative episodes to the human body have been co-linked to Lewy body dementia, Alzheimer's, CTE, and Parkinson's disease. So I wanted to bring that about. The second study I found was very positive. Thanks for everybody being on. Rod, Daryl, and Kathy Rogers. Good to see you, Kathy Parker. Hope you and Dr. Parker had a wonderful Christmas holiday. We think of you often. You're always in our thoughts, and Thank you again, what you guys are doing for Limestone. It's good to see you, buddy. Coach Unsworth, incredible football coach. Many teams, many successes, and a good personal friend. Um, Immunotherapy has had a positive outcome in a study. I want you to understand that this is a stage 1 study into a stage 2. There's usually 5 stages to studies, but excuse me, almost immediately they found when they used immunotherapy, it reduced what they call the alpha synuclein clumps, and these are clumps of protein that help slow down the production and reduce the effectiveness of dopamine in the brain, which causes us problems. Hey, Bill Wiley, good to see you. Thank you for supporting um, our fundraiser with bringing Biggie home for Maddie. That meant a lot, buddy. Um, and like I said, these clumps of proteins are supposed to fly around in the brain and go where they're to be used. They try to find the location where they're to be used. And these proteins are specific to dopamine brain function. And when they clump up, they don't allow the appropriate brain function use of dopamine. Either and I'm going to use the word retards it, meaning it slows it down, or it delays it as far as it doesn't work in the sequence of way it's supposed to. And at the same time, um, this can also cause what they call the articulation speed, where one protein joins another. So dopamine doesn't work. So they use this immunosuppressive therapy, and they find out that the immunotherapy reduces this clumping, which helps prolong the action of dopamine, and that's a plus. And uh, they're very positive about the outcome of this study being so early in the stages. And so, 2 great studies here. One that's found another cause for Parkinson's, Lewy body. Excuse me. As I told you, I can't control that, so I'm not being rude. I just part of what happens with Parkinson's late in the evening. Some people will say, well, take some more dopamine. I'm already maxed out. I can't take it today. So that's why you hear the raspiness and everything. Then the next study, like I said, is immunotherapy. And here's a biggie, Tasigna, which is the pharmaceutical name of a leukemia approved drug. And this is for the wide body um, care plan of leukemia. And this anti-carcinogenic drug medication has been tested and repurposed for treatment of Parkinson's. And it's found to be safe, and it actually increased the levels of dopamine in the brain of patients with Parkinson's. And this is just finished phase 2 and getting ready to move in phase 3. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Uh, Anatomy and physiology, Daryl, everybody has flashbacks to that. Anyway, moving on. What's so really neat about this study is that there was an immediate registering of an effect when they gave a single low dose of Tasigna to current Parkinson's patients. With that single low dose, it automatically affected the dopamine production. The dopamine that's not being used now became active. And what happened with this study, and it was an immediate effect, not like 1 second after another, but they could see over time that this single low dose was increasing the dopamine, say, because they saw a decrease in symptoms. Now, the study did not identify the specific symptoms, but it did identify the brain function improving when they did it by CT, computerized tomography, where they can see the different colors of the brain using through contrast enhancement. That's the material they inject through an IV. goes into your system and it creates red, yellow, and green zones. And sometimes they have blue zones as well. But what this showed was after a single dose, the increase of brain activity was phenomenal. So kudos to the cancer treatment of Tasigna being repurposed. At the same time, immunotherapy reduces the clumping of the brain, of the certain protein in the brain. And so it sounds all positive. These are early stage trials, but at the same time, it's promising because they're moving forward. Usually, when trials aren't very successful in stages 1 or 2, they just drop these trials. But the data points um, indicated that they were going to move forward with that. So that's the research that's out recently. Uh, Parkinson's News Today. The first one was July 17, 27 article 2018, and then the most two recent I read to you were December 19 and 20 of 2019. So this is fantastic. Matthew, thanks for coming on tonight. And Michael, hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas. One thing with the holidays is what I call, excuse me, Parkinson's safety and Parkinson's consciousness. And I leveraged the Michael J. Fox um, website to get this information. And I wanted to get this out um, to everybody. And I know we're past Christmas, but we can also use this information um, to help us over the lengthy Christmas and New Year's holiday. The first thing is for folks that are traveling with those who have Parkinson's, and for those who have Parkinson's, I'm just going to clump this discussion in together. And so let's everybody look at the idea that I'm with somebody that has Parkinson's or I have it. And the first thing is to keep that sleep schedule as regular as the one you have at home. Usually within an hour of each other, you're pretty safe to not cause an inhibition in your dopamine uptake and your other neurochemicals that are affected by your disorder. Um, so going to bed an hour later at night is okay, but then if you get up an hour earlier because your sleep cycle is disturbed, then you start causing that almost unbreakable cycle of holiday sleep deprivation, and that's not good for anybody. But for Parkinson's folks, excuse me, that's not very good at all because with slowed dopamine comes slowed muscle function, speech, ability to swallow, a mood disorder, and it also causes us to have memory issues that affect our medication, remembering to take our medication. Uh, Continuing your medications as prescribed, sometimes because of what we eat during the holidays, food reactions, um, what's going on in our lives. We have a tendency to get off our prescriptions the regular times that we take them and cause a prescription dilemma. If you do that or have a loved one that does that, then I strongly recommend that you contact your physician or at least contact your pharmacy to seek some advice. Um, trying to stay away from all those cookies and candies and all the fudge that we received during the Christmas holidays. Hey, Carly, Rachel's haven't seen you in quite a while, but thanks for coming on tonight. It's really good to see you. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Rita Strickland, thanks for coming on tonight. Ed Blake, my fraternity brother Paul, hope you guys had a great Christmas. Like I said, sticking with a healthy diet. Too much glucose, because glucose, our sugar, is a major facilitator of action within the brain. That if we jack it up or deprive it, then what happens is our brain does not uptake or use the neurochemicals, the remainder of our neurochemicals, almost like in a positive way. It causes the neurochemical function to delay, it causes it to be dysfunctional, send an errant message, causes it not to work at all, or causes confusion. So staying on that healthy diet, yeah, you're going to take a couple cookies in and some fudge here and there, but really watch your sugar intake, liquid sugar intake, and nutrient sugar intake. Hey, Penny, good to see you. Thanks for being on tonight. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas. And finally, folks, really watch for confusion in folks with Parkinson's. This is a serious issue, and it can be short term or long term. But any one of these factors that I mentioned earlier can contribute to confusion, and it may be an inability to discriminate with time, not necessarily night and day, but lose track of time, not have time awareness. Um, at the same time, being confused of where somebody is, like in a time and space element. Um, when you're getting ready to, like, if you plan to go somewhere 4 o'clock, you get so confused about what time it is and what you're supposed to do, you don't develop a time element. Um, one good strategy is to remind the person you're with that has Parkinson's. Um, Remind them of events that have gone on during the day or in conversations that they have. And this will help reduce the confusion. Also, ask them questions during the day about how they're feeling. Watch what they eat. Make sure they take their meds, and hopefully try to keep them on their schedule. Hey, Crystal Dedman. Um, Alex with her great wisdom once again. Hey, Charity Larson. Meg, Merry Christmas to you and that wonderful husband of yours. Um, Christmas dinners, eating Christmas dinners. Too much protein, uh, too much meat, any other like vegetable proteins really can mess with Parkinson's medication. And what I mean by messes with it is it can slow down or advance, become more synergistic, more powerful, have a stronger effect on the patient than what's intended by the medication. It also can slow it down. So one practice would be to look at the menus that you're preparing and see if there's any food interactions with the medications. You can get this on any Parkinson's website. You can look on any of the medication websites, and it'll tell you what the food interactions are. Also, um, let's say you're going to a couple people's houses over the holiday. See what kind of times that they see the times that they plan on eating. Let's say one family eats at 5, another eats at 7, and your person's taking medication and has to eat by 6. Provide a snack for them. Excuse me. Provide a snack for them. Provide a snack for them. Um, let's say at the 6 o'clock hour for the 7 o'clock transition, so it doesn't cause that sugar imbalance, the sugar imbalance from the day before. Because if you eat at 4, that's eating too early. If you eat at 7, that's a little too late for somebody who's taking a 6 o'clock med and needs food. So always have snacks available, and additional drinks like Gatorades, um, drinks that are very low in sugar, high in potassium, high in calcium, high in magnesium, of course, in the never-ending consumption of water. It's also good that if the person is a member of a Parkinson's support group, that they communicate during the Christmas holidays and the New Year's holidays with people that are in their support group. And not only to check on them and see if they're doing okay, but so they don't lose that link to those that are like them. So if you have somebody with you that is involved in that has Parkinson's and is in the support group, hey, suggest to them, hey, did you give Bill a call or Bob a call or Ted a call or Sally or Mary or whoever? See how they're doing, have them check on them. It also enhances that that sense of self-worth that sometimes we lose when we have Parkinson's disease. Let's talk about um, shopping environments. Like I said, Christmas shopping has already been taken care of for the most part. So you may be returning gifts now or exchanging gifts out, and you have somebody, let's say it's a level 3 out of 5 US scale or a 5 out of 7 Canadian scale Parkinson's. Bringing them to congested environments can cause confusion. It can cause fear. It can cause a situational depression. It causes anxiety. And at those times in the public, um, sometimes Parkinson's patients feel like they have a target on them that says, I have Parkinson's and everybody's looking at me. This is very common in those stages, but especially when you're going from one environment and another to another, and you don't have the ability to get adjusted. So when you're doing your shopping, exchanging gifts, and you are going to take your Parkinson's patient with you. Yes, it is, Teresa. I'll discuss that in just a second. Thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate that. Teresa Heffelfinger, my dear friend, who I had the honor of working with for 30 years, or close to 30 years. Outstanding guidance counselor, um, Christian, musician, multi-talented, multilingual, just incredible. And I was honored to retire with her at the same time from Cleveland County Schools. Miss seeing her. But I'll address that in a minute, Teresa. So to get back to the changing of the environments, let me provide an example for you. Let's say you're going to Cleveland Mall. We'll tell your family member that you are going, and then why you're going to the trip, or what this trip means, and what you're going to do, and what your schedule is, and try to stay to that schedule. Tell them first we're going to go to Marshall's and we're going to turn this in, and we're going to get a new one because the sweater didn't fit for you. So we're going to try on some sweaters. And then after you complete that task, then tell them what the next task is. But say, hey, would you like to walk around a little while to get some exercise? That way they'll become more adjusted to that environment. And then they can go to the next store. I like to personally suggest no more than 3 stores at a time because that'll help minimize the confusion and at the same time the stress, the anxiety, and I'm going to say this from personal experience. It's really difficult when you go someplace and you're trying to remember your Christmas list, even though you have it with you, and you run into somebody you haven't seen in a while, and you just like totally blank out. And I've had to tell people, I remember your face. Did I take care of you as an injured athlete? And they'll say yes. And can you tell me what injury it was? Try to get a clue to go. And then finally I say, I'm sorry, I just can't remember your name. And that's very embarrassing for me. And at the same time, I know it affects that person like, you know, you don't remember who I am. I spent like 6 weeks in your clinic or you took care of me when I played football 10 years ago and you don't remember me. And then I have to say to them, I'm sorry, I can't remember who you are. I have Parkinson's. And this leads right into Teresa's um, question. Um, it leads right into that, but yeah, I've had to do that many times. And thank God that Mary Ann's been with me to help me out with that. But if she can remember who they are, but I don't mean to do that. It just happens, and I feel so bad about it. And Teresa, to answer your question, yes. And there's different types of situations. Anxiety from your training, can cause a memory lapse. being in unfamiliar places, a change in their schedule. Dehydration is very common in Parkinson's folks. Um, and the inappropriate, or not inappropriate, poor nutrition, food uptake, too many sugars, not enough proteins, not a good balance. All of those things can contribute to Parkinson's related memory issues. Um, as we know from our studies, that um, Parkinson's runs with two other D's: depression and dementia. And like Alzheimer's, the dementia, the depression, and the delusions. Um, so the depending on the stage of Parkinson's, the age of the patient, um, the answer is yes. It's going to happen in all of us, and it's something that we get at different stages. And like one reason that I'm not going to go into the other reason why I'm stepping back from limestone, because that's a family medical issue. But I think Patrick and Jacob, you're free to speak. Um, Patrick's one of my students, and so is Jacob. At times, I have some memory issues, and Patrick, if you'd like to affirm that, go right ahead. They're so kind to send me text messages and emails to remind me of things, and sometimes I forget assignments, and that's just something that happens to me, and I don't feel it's fair to my students if that's occurring. It's not giving them the best education they can get. They need to be around somebody that can pop that stuff off all the time. And so I think the best thing there for me is just to finish the semester out and just completely retire. So, Teresa, I hope that has helped you. Another thing is to look at the medication that they're taking and see if it needs to be adjusted either up or down. And at the same time, it may need have something added to it. And also, it may need something um, that boosts it. Like I take Rytari during the day, which is one form of dopamine. It's a levodopa carbidopa. It's a carbidopa drug, I believe. And then I have levodopa carbidopa at night to boost me through. So that should help a lot. That's right, Alex. Visual information is part of any kind of a mental disability. Teresa, you have my phone number. You're also welcome to call. I can come up to the church or come over to the house and talk with you as well. So, and you know where we live, so you're always welcome to drop by. Let's talk about the last thing here that I wanted to bring up tonight is getting ready to go out. Let's say Christmas parties, which we've already had, New Year's Eve parties. And I want to speak specifically to that. And I want to talk about getting ready. One thing that you can do is mind prep. Tell your parky, talk to your parky about, hey, there's going to be a lot of people there. You may know somebody. You may know these folks. I know like Jim and Teresa and Jacob and Alex are coming to the party. It'd be great to see them again. And, um, it's just going to have a great time. They have lots of music, great food, so they can start getting that in their mind. Do that throughout the day, maybe a couple days um, ahead of time, and start prepping them. Also, start getting clothes ready. It takes us usually about an hour extra a day to get ourselves ready. 30 minutes extra in the morning, 30 minutes at night. So helping that person pick their clothes out, excuse me, lay out that party outfit may help. And again, by you doing that or allowing your family member that has Parkinson's to do that, then giving them that time allotment makes that experience um, more pleasant for them. The thing I would caution you about is if if you encounter with your person that has Parkinson's, they come up to somebody and that person says, hey, Bill, do you remember me? Or hey, Jim, do you remember me? Um, Try to mitigate that, um, hey, by bringing up a conversational point that you may know that that person has with your husband or wife, an experience that they may have. Y'all went to college together. Didn't you guys go to college together? Or didn't you play high school football? I know that's a long time ago, but high school football, and then that person says, no, I just don't remember you. Then you can say, well, he has some health problems or she has some health problems. So that's taking a very bad, uncomfortable event and making the best of it. At the same time, don't babysit the person that has Parkinson's. Let them go out and enjoy, even if they're a level 3 or a 2 or whatever. Hey, Miss Aker, good to see you. Appreciate everything you do for our youth in Cleveland County. And as always, always a supporter of what you do, and like to donate to that. Alex, you say you're claustrophobic. Um, there are things that I'm sure that you know how to do to help you with your claustrophobia, so you can have as much space as you need in order to feel comfortable. And then, noise. I know that noise also irritates you. Um, Alex, you didn't know this about me, but I can't. I've always got to see a door, and I don't like having my back to a lot of people. That's from another part in my life. But so we share some of the things together. I'm not claustrophobic, but I'm very space oriented. Another thing I've become more interested in space, Alex, is to make sure that I don't have any barriers. So in case my legs decide to go clumsy on me, I don't fall. So we share some of the same things, and I appreciate you bringing that up. Um, but again, these are some things I just wanted to drop by and speak about. And wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and hope every New Year's gets better and better and better, and you have wonderful, great experiences and great times with your family. That's what makes our holidays so wonderful, is being with our family. Let's not forget the reason for the season, as they say. Keep the Christ in Christmas. But thanks for coming on tonight. I'm going to close it down. I'm starting to burn out. Love you guys. You mean the world to me. And always remember, embrace the shake. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you. Good night.